Welcome to the Political Oracle, and I want to call in this room the students of political science. This is what no one will teach you in your political science class. Point number one, politics is tripartite. Politics has the past, it has the present, and politics has the future. What is the past of politics? I want you to understand that politics carries the past in its bones. And every constitution, every institution, every political party is built on decisions, struggles, and compromises of the past. Understand that the ghosts, for example, in Kenya, of colonialism, the past revolutions, liberation movements like what we call the second liberation in this country, and constitutional milestones still shape the choices we make today. And that is why today we say we are living by the 2010 Constitution. In the year 1990s, the Young Turks were fighting for the liberation and also for multi-party democracy. That is the past of our politics. And in Kenya, the shadow of independence and the legacy of past regimes still echo in how governance and resistance are understood. So we cannot understand politics unless we understand the past. And that is why we say politics and political analysis has the past. Politics in the now is about protest and policy, debate and disconnect, service delivery, and social media trends that we are seeing, activism, and many other things that are happening today. It is the now of the politics. It's the tension between citizens and the state, tension between what is and what should be. The present demands responsibility. It is where political will either manifest in reform or retreat into indifference, and it is determined by the current leadership. The current wave, for example, in Kenya, of civil awakening is the present trying to speak loudly and unflinchingly. So what is happening is the present of politics, and it is very important for you to understand the present of politics in its own context so that you understand how it's going to shape our current life. Now, what is the future of politics? Politics is a body. Politics is an idea, is what we call the possibility. It is shaped by the generation that is there. For example, today we are talking about the Gen Zs who refuse inherited limits. Remember, we have a kind of generation that does not want to inherit the limits that they have been. So the future of politics is shaped by youth who refuse inherited limits, by innovations in democratic participation, and by how well they imagine the world is supposed to be in the future. So the future of politics is crafting new way and visions, number one, for just, for inclusive and sustainable democracy. So the future of politics is written today, or the politics and the structures that we put in today are the blueprints for generations to come. So that when we are talking about politics as a future, we are talking about what we want our children, our grandchildren to find, and how they should find the structures of today. So every act of resistance, every vote that is cast today, every call for justice is ultimately a seed for the political future. And that is the tripartite nature of politics. Politics has three portions. Politics has a body, politics has a soul, and politics has the spirit. The body of politics represents the structures, the systems, and tangible institutions. Parliaments, constitutions, policies, political parties, borders, and bureaucracies. For example, in Kenya, we have the national government, we have the county assemblies, we have the constitutional bodies. The soul of politics, they are the values, the identities, and collective memory of a political community. It is where you find the emotional current, citizens' sense of justice and solidarity, belonging, all a sense of betrayal. So the soul of politics can either be negative or positive. If it is negative, then the government finds actually it hard to operate. If the soul of politics is not healthy, the government is going to operate under illegitimacy, whether that illegitimacy is imagined or it is actually structured or emerging from the process through which they came into power. Either way, politics is an idea. Politics is about perception. For example, when people vote, when people mobilize, not just for policy, but for dignity, for equity, and all historical redress, they are speaking to the soul of politics. When we are saying people should vote, people should be mobilized, people should have the right to protest, we are speaking and empowering the soul of politics. And that is why we need to know it is very important to guard the soul of politics if the body is going to operate well. Because the legitimacy of the body of politics is determined by the healthy of the soul of politics. In Kenya, for example, the generational frustrations being voiced today is not just about finance bill, it's not about William Ruto, it's not about the current regime, it's about deep yearning for integrity, for inclusion, and for moral leadership that has eroded and evaded us from the time we had independence. What then is the spirit of politics? Okay, this is the transformative energy. It is the part that aspires, dreams, and also transcendence. And it shows up in revolutionary ideas. It shows up in visionary leadership. It shows up in grassroots awakening or even spiritual resistance. That's the spirit of politics. The spirit part of politics animates movements that seek to reimagine society, not just fix the broken parts. It drives the belief that another world is possible. The spirit of politics in Kenya is crying, trying to say a different Kenya is possible. Immediately that happens, we are speaking to the spirit of politics. When ordinary Kenyans are demanding new reforms of governance and imagining civil futures beyond tired institutions, they are tapping into the spirit of politics. And that is why we need to understand politics is not just a cold game of power. If we understand the fact that politics has the body, it has the soul, it has the spirit, it is a living ecosystem. Politics is grounded in physical reality, it is animated by human values, and it is capable of renewal through collective transformation. Unless we understand that, we will continue having problems and the challenges in trying to analyze politics from a bipartisan perspective. And that is why I want to call to all students of political science, all political analysts to understand this. Politics is tripartite. Politics as the past, politics as the present, politics as the future. Understand that politics has the body, politics has the soul, politics have a spirit. And the spirit cannot be correct if the soul is unhealthy. And the body of politics will never work until the soul of politics is intact. And that is the political oracle.